We had earlier seen asexual reproduction, how it takes place, sexual reproduction, how does it takes place in reproduction in organisms. Now we will see how vegetative reproduction takes place. We know that vegetative reproduction is necessary and it takes place by two means, that is natural as well as artificial methods. If we see vegetative methods by natural methods, vegetative propagation, it takes place by three means: vegetative propagation by roots, vegetative propagation by stem, vegetative propagation by leaves. We have seen in roots such as the roots of guava or the roots of sweet potato, how do they grow? They grow by adventitious buds or roots. These buds also store food. These are necessary for continuity of character. So by these roots we get a new plant, like an independent plant. Similarly, in vegetative propagation by stem, the stem decays, older stem decays and it gives rise to a new stem, and from this new branches appear and these are capable of giving rise to a new plant. Similarly, when adventitious buds arise from the margins of the leaf, as you have seen in the bryophyllum, when the vegetative propagation appears by the margin of the leaves, then it will give rise to a new plant. Artificial methods, if we see, why artificial methods is chosen as a means of vegetative propagation. Artificial methods are chosen because they are quicker methods by which propagation will take place, and by this method we can combine the superior qualities. If the superior qualities are combined, they give rise to a new plant, and the plant will be of a greater quality. So, from the artificial methods, if we see, there are two methods. One is the conventional method and other is the modern method. In artificial method also two methods are used. One is the conventional method and other is the modern method. So, if we, in the conventional method, what we are seeing is conventional methods. Three types we are following from so long, that is cutting, grafting and layering. What happens in cutting? In this method, producing a new plant by cutting parts of the plant. Such parts of the plant, when they are cut, like from the root, stem and leaf, they are grown in a suitable medium. By the suitable medium, when they give rise to root, it produces root and it grows into the new plant. Like from the root cutting, we are getting malice. By cutting from the root, there are examples of the plants such as malice. Then if we see from the stem cutting, we get bougainvillea, hibiscus, if cutting is from the stem. If cutting is by the leaves, we get the plant bryophyllum. So, we are practicing these conventional methods of cutting from years long. Second method, what we see is, that is grafting. So, what is grafting? Grafting, in which if we see grafting, there are two things which are involved. One is the stalk and other is the scion. The stalk, which is the main plant body, which is in the soil, this is known as the stalk, and upon this stalk, if you see, then an oblique section is being made. Upon this stalk, a scion is placed, another plant of desired quality, that will be known as a scion. It is placed along with some plant hormones, then it is tied together. After some time, what we see that when the stalk and the scion are placed together, the leaves emerge, and from when the leaves start emerging, as we know, photosynthesis takes place and then it gives rise to a new plant. Now, this plant what we have got by the stalk and the scion by the method of grafting, it is of a superior quality because it has got both the qualities, it has merged together, and now we are getting a hybrid plant which is of a much superior qualities, and we are practicing it from years long. Third, if we see, that is layering. Grafting it is mostly done in citrus fruits, mango. That's why we are getting superior qualities of mangoes year by year. We are getting superior qualities of mangoes, superior qualities of citrus fruits such as orange, lemon. Third, if we see, third is the layering. We are seeing in the jasmine plant. What we see in the jasmine plant is that if a plant is placed, if the plant is placed in the soil jasmine plant, it is allowed to grow, then it gives rise to a stem, a branch, it will come and it will attach with the soil over here, then the roots will emerge. Now, if we cut the plant from here, this plant is capable of giving rise to a new plant. This is by the method of layering. It gives rise to a new plant. Layering, many types of layering are being done, such as the bud layering, the mound layering, the air layering. So, the rooted plant now grows as a new plant. It happens in the plants such as jasmine, ixora. These are the various methods, that is the natural as well as the artificial methods of vegetative propagation. Next we will see is water hyacinth. What is water hyacinth? We know that water hyacinth's scientific name is EICHHORNIA crassipus. Water hyacinth's scientific name is EICHHORNIA. EICHHORNIA crassipus. Water hyacinth. Now, this water hyacinth, it is a floating aquatic herb. It is found in ponds and lakes. When the water level is very low, when the water level is low, it gives rise to roots in the mud. Roots are also of the two types, adventitious fibrous roots, which are having root pockets. Root pockets are present. The leaves of the plant, if we see, either it is kidney shape or it has got a rhomboidal shape. It is rhomboidal shape, and it doesn't arise like this. This is an inflated petiole. We get an inflated petiole. Petioles are inflated. We have an inflated petiole in the water hyacinth. Water hyacinth, it is a very fast growing weed and it grows in the standing water. If it grows in the standing water, there is oxygen deficiency because it depletes all the oxygen from the lakes and the rivers, and the lakes and the rivers are now devoid of oxygen. As a result, what happens is that it leads to the death of the aquatic organisms and fishes which are found in the lakes and rivers. So now it is a havoc. It is known as the terror of Bengal. This is also known as a terror of Bengal. It will come in your exams. Like, why water hyacinth is known as the terror of Bengal? Because it is, it is an introduced species. It was introduced by the Britishers because of its very attractive colors, that it is violet in color, and if you see, it looks very beautiful, but now it has become an havoc. We are unable to eradicate it because its propagation is very fast. So we are not able to eradicate it. It is taking place by offsets. These offsets, this gives rise to a new water hyacinth plant. It propagates by offsets, and hence it is very, very difficult to get rid of this plant. Now, if we see, why do we consider vegetative propagation as significant? Why vegetative propagation is significant. What are the various significance of vegetative propagation? Characters of the parent plants are preserved. A good variety of plant is produced and it can be propagated by vegetative means. It is a quicker method, so it needs shorter periods. It is easier and cheaper method. Then it is only way of perpetuation in plants in which seeds are not there, like seedless grapes, rose, banana, jasmine. And one more thing is that if suppose a plant we are growing by vegetative method, if this place it is being infected, we can easily get rid of this part because it is by vegetative propagation. This part can be easily removed. The rest of the plant is a healthy plant, and flowers which are present, when we saw the stalk and the scion, the flowers which are produced in the scion are of much superior quality. It is a method of multiplying plants which have got very poor seed viability. Some plants do not have a good seed viability. So, in this case, vegetative propagation comes to rescue and it shows a very good viability in seed quality. Next, methods like grafting permit physiologically and physical union of different individuals. Different individuals like plants, they can be of best economic advantages. So, that is why vegetative propagation is used and it is perpetuated, and that is the significance of vegetative propagation. Now, if we see, there are some plants, every plant has got different life cycles. Some plants are biennial plants, that is they grow, they grow in one season, flower and fruit in the other season. So, these are known as the biennial plants. Some are the annual plants which grow, mature, flower and perish in one season. So, that is why they are known as the annual plants, and some are the perennial plants. That is, throughout its life cycle it will grow, reproduce, flower, mature. So, the plants are classified as such. Every organism on this earth, they follow a particular lifespan. Similarly, the plants also follow a particular lifespan, like they will flower in one season and they will fruit and die in the other season. Like in bamboo, average lifespan of bamboo is 50 to 100 years. In this 50 to 100 years, the bamboo plants flowers once, either it will flower once in 50 years or it will flower once in 100 years, and after that they die or perish. Similarly, there is one mention of a plant which is known as Strobilanthes kunthiana. There is a mention of this plant, Strobilanthes kunthiana, that is known as the Neela Kuranji. This plant flowers once in 12 years. It flowers once in 12 years. It is found in the regions of Munnar, Ooty, Kodaikanal. During this time, the whole mountains, they appear blue in color just because of the color of the flower, which are blue in color. The whole mountains appears blue in color, hence the name Neela Kuranji, that is Strobilanthes kunthiana. It had flowered recently, it had flowered in the month from August to October in the year 2018. The flowering period is from August to October, and last it flowered in 2018. Hence you can calculate from 2018, again 12 years it will take time to flower again. So, every organism has got its lifespan, be it plants, be it animals. Based on that, they grow, mature and reproduce. Similarly, if we see some animals, they are classified as according to their cycle, that is known as the estrous cycle and the menstrual cycle. Estrous cycle, if we see, it happens in non-primates. They are known as seasonal breeders. Whereas menstrual cycle, it happens in primates. They are known as continuous breeders. Non-primates such as sheep, cow, dog, etc. and primates such as monkey, apes, humans. Basically, what are primates? Primates are those organisms, primates are differentiated upon those organisms either which have a lower brain capacity or the higher brain capacity. Primates are those which have a higher brain capacity, and hence the monkey, apes and humans come in this. Whereas the non-primates are those which have a lower brain capacity. And why they are known as seasonal breeders? Because if you see cow, dog, sheep, they breed at a particular season. They will breed at a particular season. That's why they are also known as occasional breeders, and or the seasonal breeders, and in menstrual cycle, like in primates, they are known as continuous breeders. Why are they known as continuous breeders? Because they breed throughout their life cycle, and hence that's why the organisms are classified according to their menstrual cycle. Either it will be a estrous cycle or it will be a menstrual cycle. Next, what we will see is what is blastogenesis and embryogenesis. What is the difference between blastogenesis and embryogenesis? Blastogenesis, it does not take part in fertilization, that is no zygote is formed, and the plant, it will mature from any part of the plant, any bud or any part of the plant. Any part of plant. This will grow, mature, and this small part of the plant, this part is known as the blastose. This part is known as the blastose. It is capable of giving rise to a new individual plant, or the organism. But in embryogenesis takes part in fertilization. It forms zygote. From the zygote, embryo is formed. This embryo, it grows and it forms a new organism, be it a plant or be it an animal. So, this is the difference between blastogenesis and embryogenesis. Now, if we see, this is what is happening in, mostly it is happening in animals. Now, if we see plants, we see that's how the plants are classified. Plants are classified as monoecious, homothallic, or bisexual, or it can be also classified as dioecious, heterothallic, or unisexual. Monoecious plant means both the sex organs, that is male and the female, or the male and the female part is found in the same plant body, that is homothallic. It also denotes the same thing, that is it is found in the same thallus. What is a thallus? Thallus is a structure which cannot be differentiated into true root, stem and leaves, that is homothallic. So both the sex organs will be found in the same thallus. Bisexual, both the sex organ will be found in this. Now, dioecious, sex organs are found in separate, heterothallics in separate thalli. Unisexual, that is either it will be a staminate or it will be pistillate. Staminate, only stamens present. Stamen is the male reproductive part of the flower. Pistillate, only pistils present, that is the female reproductive part of the plant. So, based on that the plants are classified. If we see that in this, when pollination takes place, what is pollination? Pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma, that is pollination. Pollination, based on the nature of the plant, like if the plant is bisexual or the plant is homosexual, by that also pollination can be taking place. Pollination are taking place by three, that is either they will take place by insects with the help of the insects, by insects. If it is occurring by insects, it is known as entomophily. If it takes place by insects, it is known as entomophily. If it takes place by wind, it is known as anemophily. If it takes place by, it will take place by wind, that is known as anemophily, or it takes place by water, that is known as hydrophily. If it takes place by water, then it is known as hydrophily. Similarly, successful transfer and coming together of transfer of gametes is essential for the critical reproduction, that is known as the sexual reproduction. In most organisms follow two types of reproduction or the fertilization. Fertilization will lead to reproduction. So, two types of fertilization will take place and organisms are classified as such, that is the internal fertilization and it is external fertilization. Internal fertilization, if we see, internal fertilization, it takes place inside the body of the animal. It takes place mostly in all the plants, majority of the plants, reptiles, birds and mammals, and eggs are formed inside the female, inside the body of the female. Whereas in external fertilization, fertilization takes place outside the body, like in algae, fishes and some amphibians like frogs and some amphibians such as frogs. External fertilization takes place, that is egg is released outside in the water and majority more number of eggs are produced, more number of sperms are produced and it is released in the external medium. So that is also known as external fertilization. But which is advantageous, whether a question comes in the board exam, whether it is the internal external fertilization or the external fertilization, which is more advantageous. Here we will come to see that internal fertilization is considered to be more suitable. Why? Because the progeny or the fetus, it remains inside the body of the plant, it gets full inside the body of the organism, it gets full nourishment from the parent body and hence it is liberated out. When it is liberated out, it is a full grown individual but only in a miniature form. Whereas in external fertilization, there is a more risk of predators as it is directly given in the medium, external medium, so there is more risk of predators. Hence from an evolutionary point of view, internal fertilization is considered to be far more superior than external fertilization. Now, last if we see the last topic of this lesson, that is parthenogenesis. What is parthenogenesis? What is parthenogenesis? Parthenogenesis means parthenos means virgin, genesis means produce, that is the organism is produced without fertilization, that is parthenogenesis. Development of an egg into an individual without any fertilization, that is why it is known as parthenogenesis. It was discovered by Charles Bennett in the year 1745. It was given by Charles Bonnet in the year 1745. According to Charles Bonnet, parthenogenesis is again divided into two, that is natural parthenogenesis and artificial parthenogenesis. Natural parthenogenesis is, if we come to natural parthenogenesis, they occur repeatedly in the life cycle of the organism. Again and again they will repeat. The natural parthenogenesis, again it is divided into two, that is complete parthenogenesis and incomplete parthenogenesis. Complete parthenogenesis means only one parent is involved, there is completely, they are represented by females only, there is no sexual reproduction, only parthenogenesis takes place and females are involved in that. That means complete parthenogenesis. Incomplete parthenogenesis means as it happens in honeybees. Honeybees produce either ways parthenogenesis. They go for sexual reproduction also as well as parthenogenesis also. How they go in honeybees, the fertilization, the fertilized zygotes, they turn into queen bee. They turn into the queen bee and the workers, queen honeybee and workers. If the zygotes are fertilized and if the zygotes are not fertilized, unfertilized, they lead to drones. They lead to drones which are male. So, in honeybees, incomplete parthenogenesis takes place. Hence, we complete the first chapter and I hope you have completely followed.